Hey all, welcome back to another episode of a rainy Ginger Snap Customs. So I'm out here with Dot and the Yellow Submarine, Dad's Suburban, and the parts 54 GMC Chevy. And I'm playing with Dot. So I'm actually going to flip the camera around and show you guys what I'm doing because the overheating thing still has me pretty perturbed and I want to know what's going on. Alright, so Dot's still overheated. We did the head gasket. She runs great. She doesn't smoke anymore. Life is good. But she gets hotter than the surface of the sun. Why? Well, I decided to throw some pressure in the radiator with the lines all off, and nothing is coming out of the lower exit of the radiator whatsoever. It wasn't dripping, it wasn't pouring. It came out of the heater lines just fine here, off the water pump and off the neck, and it came out of the top spout just fine. But somehow, between here and the bottom, nothing came out. Lo and behold, I have a spare radiator out of another 54 that I gutted about a half decade ago. So I put water in this one and magically fluid came out of the top and the bottom like it was supposed to, and it seemed to be in pretty decent shape. So my plan is yank the radiator out of Dot, pop this radiator in Dot, and I believe my new coil is already at the house. So we'll get this swapped. Might run down the road with L Beater Max, snag me an ignition coil, rob the battery out of the Yellow Suburban here, and see if we can't play with Dot and see if she actually has some cooling capabilities. So I'm gonna get to work and do some progress as we go. Radiator's out. It is a whopping 6 half-inch head bolts that just hold it onto the core support. Old radiator, new radiator, new radiator. I can pick up one hand and it's really not that bad. Old radiator weighs about double. I wonder why. Oh, there's mice in there. All right, well, the mice have filled the radiator and that's why coolant can't come out this bottom support. So I think we're gonna change that, Dad.
Hell yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna drop this one in, and then run to my house, get the new ignition coil, and we'll see what happens.
Tater.
The rain has picked up, but the radiator's in. Dad and I have it all plumbed up. So far it is full and it is not leaking. The only water that's coming off of it is what came off the overflow spout here and ran down the side. So I would say that it's about ready to find some life again. Ran down to GSC HQ, made a new coil power wire, grabbed the new coil. Now we're back down to Dot, and we'll see if we can't plumb her up and get her going. Brand new ignition coil's in, wires are on. Guess it's time to borrow the battery out of the Suburban here. Look at that, it's already half unhooked. Thanks, Dad. All right, ground's off. Toss this over here, Dot. I'll get everything hooked up here and see what else we might need other than some ether and maybe a makeshift choke, because it moves. I'll try to hook that up quick. Well, she lives. Minimal ether required. Valves need a last job, but other than that, it's really not hateful. Either the radiator is a leaker or it's just coming out of the fins from when I started it earlier. I guess I don't really know. But we'll let it warm up and see where it gets. Staying cool so far, other than the fact the radiator leaks. It's not purging air and making a mess. So other than probably having to get another radiator, so far it's a success. Well, I'd like to call it a success. I guess I'll find out in another 5 minutes. Getting close to 10.5 minutes to run time, 11 minutes. And yeah, like I said, the radiator's got a bit of a leak to it, but other than that, she's doing extraordinarily well. As you can see, it's staying pretty cool now. So I think at this point I need to look into getting this radiator fixed up and see about getting her out and moving it around the field to determine how bad it really is, but I may or may not have just solved my cooling issues with Dot. Taking Dot on a quick test drive here, and so far her temp looks pretty good, and she's running all right. She's not too smoky, doesn't smell like oil, so I'm gonna say that radiator needs to be patched up and we'll be well on our way. Hope everybody has a great night.